Today I'm diving back into the mascot barrel to pull out a possum that's pretty awesome. Not that possum, he's nowhere near awesome, so it can only be one other awesome possum. That's right, strap on your jetpacks and sharpen your sword and get ready to join the Rocket Knights. We're going on a high-flying adventure with Sparkster in Rocket Knight Adventures. Rocket Knight Adventures was released in 1993 and was Konami's second Genesis exclusive that they developed and published, the first being the Hyperstone Heist Ninja Turtles game. Rocket Knight Adventures was the most successful of the Sonic clones, followed by two sequels, Sparkster, Rocket Knight Adventures 2 for the Genesis in February of 1994, and Rocket Knight, released in May of 2010 for the PlayStation Network, Xbox Live Arcade, and Steam. A game called Sparkster was released for the Super Nintendo in October of 1994, but is considered non-canon or a side story, as it doesn't share the same continuity as the other three games. Once again, the controls are weird. I swear, what's it with me and every other game that I review has these backward-ass controls? A attacks, B jumps, and C also attacks. But since Konami is a good developer, you can change the controls to your liking. Holding the attack button allows you to charge your rocket pack. Releasing it when it's fully charged allows you to launch yourself in whatever direction you're holding the D-pad in. However, if you're standing still and release the attack button, you'll be able to use a spin attack. The story takes place in the world of Elhorn, where medieval times and advanced technology coexist and is populated by anthropomorphic animals. The first game of the series only introduces you to possums and pigs, while other species are introduced in the sequels. In the land of Zephyrus, the possums were fighting off the invading pigs. The pigs had created something called the Pig Star, but the king of the possums had it sealed away after the defeat of the pigs. Sparkster, the main hero of the story, was orphaned during the war, and the then leader of the Rocket Knights took him in, where he was taught the ways of the Rocket Knight and excelled at becoming one. Then Axel Gear, a corrupt Rocket Knight, stole the ancient book from the leader of the Rocket Knights after permanently disabling him. However, in the Japanese story, he's probably dead. Sparkster soon became the new leader of the Rocket Knights and then left on a 10-year mission to avenge his adoptive father, while posing as an outlaw to find Axel. And some sources say that during that time, the Rocket Knights were either killed off or they quit, as Sparkster is sometimes referred to as the last Rocket Knight. But Axel Gear finds new employment with the pigs and kidnaps the princess in hopes of blackmailing the king to give him the key to the Pig Star. And now it's your job to save the princess, get your revenge on Axel, and stop the pigs from using the Pig Star to do whatever it does. For a game that's obviously geared towards kids, this is a pretty deep and very well thought out story. Not only do they give you a backstory that sucks you into this world that they created, but they made Sparkster something that we can enjoy as a character. He's a knight, he's noble, he's driven, he dons his armor to protect the kingdom of which he lives in, and he's got a rocket pack. How awesome is that? Gameplay-wise, Rocket Knight Adventures can be described as a hybrid, going from a platformer to a shooter like Gradius, another Konami game. In fact, there are in-game references during the shooter-styled levels. There's 4 difficulty levels: Children, Easy, Normal, and Hard. But in Japan, there were Normal, Hard, Very Hard, and Crazy Hard. The last 2 needed a code to be unlocked in Japan. Now this makes sense, because on Normal, you get your ass handed to you. And on Hard, it's one hit and it's game over. Konami knew we Americans were hardcore as they took out all the codes that the Japanese and European versions had. That, or they just hated us. I'll go with either. The graphics are very well done and the sound is great. It doesn't have the typical squeals and screeches that plague most Genesis games. Even Gunstar Heroes had music that nearly made my ears bleed. And it's funny to watch the pigs go wee 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 all the way home in their boxers after one hit from your sword. There isn't too much frame rate slowdown that happens, even when there's tons of stuff going on. The frame rate stays pretty consistent, and it takes a lot of stuff for the frame rate to slow down, compared to Crusader or Senti, where things slow down even when nothing is happening. The levels are very linear. There's no choice in paths in which you'll be taking to get to the end of the stage. I only have one gripe concerning level design. You really can't use your rocket boost to go above the heads-up display, unless the current area you're in allows you to, which only makes one area a pain in the ass, but it's not too bad. The first area is a countryside, and you'll be making your way over to the castle that's under attack. And it's quite a journey there. After you defeat a tank, you'll have to fly across the ocean and bust your way into the castle after defeating a water monster. You'll make your way through the castle, which is on fire, and make your way to the boss, which looked like a spider on the outside, but now looks like some kind of weird mechanical centipede. After the boss is defeated, you'll be blown away by the jet wash of the giant airship, and you'll be chasing after it. You'll be going through watery caverns, and you gotta hand it to Sparkster. Even though with all that heavy armor and jetpack, at least you can swim, unlike some other characters. And the second area flows into a railway, which you'll be fighting the next boss, which is a mechanical train inside of a cavern. Then you'll make your way through the third area, which is a mountainous, volcano-like area, which is probably the shortest level in the entire game. The fourth area is the airship, and this is the second shortest level, and this is where the game steps up the difficulty. Outside of the airship, you'll need those twitch reflexes, as barrels will bounce or roll at you, and getting hit by one sends you flying back. Down below is a little bit more tame, but you'll have to have those perfect jumping skills after the sub-boss to get back inside. And then you'll need perfect timing to get through the force fields and avoid the pigs with the bazookas. The boss here is relatively simple. Just avoid the falling debris and attack him when the robot's stomach opens. And then stand in the corner and use your spin attack when the tiny pig gets close. Now it's off to the Pig Kingdom, which looks something like London, although I picture the pigs having a German accent rather than a British one. This is where the game ramps up the difficulty. It's challenging, but not impossible. For the first part, you'll mostly be avoiding stuff like the giant butt plug rockets. The sub-boss here should look pretty familiar if you've played Gradius before. And after he's gone, you'll bust your way into the pig fortress. Inside, you'll want to avoid the robo-pigs, as they'll kill you with one hit. Make your way through the fortress and you'll find yourself in front of Axel, but he'll jump in a giant mech and chase you. Rocket burst your way through the level until you get to a mech of your own. You'll have to be very careful when you attack, as he takes a lot more hits than you do. And rather than a traditional boss fight, this is more of a puzzle. While you can get the first 3 hits with absolutely no problem, it's anything after that is where it becomes tricky. This part requires a lot of strategy, and there really is no set strategy on how to defeat him. You'll probably just have to go with straight luck. After Axel is defeated, and don't worry, he'll be back, you'll take to deep space after the Pig King. Now this is where the game is really like Gradius. You're in space and there's shit flying at you constantly. This area is relatively short too. Axel makes an appearance as well, and get out of the way when he's charging his laser, either by moving to the top or to the bottom of the screen. You'll then get to the stage boss, a giant ship. The first part is easy. Avoid everything, while trying to hit the small red sphere. After the ship is destroyed, it'll form into a mech. Avoid the bullets and attack the red orb, and try to keep from laughing, as it'll go into the funniest conniption fit you'll ever see in a video game. Now you'll be inside the Pigstar. You'll have to fight the King Pig, and you'll find out that he's a robot upon his defeat. Then you'll make your way through the level, and now you have to fight Axel again. And this is it. Now you get your revenge on Axel for making your adoptive father a paraplegic. Or dead. And truth be told, Axel's kind of a puss. Attack him a few times, and then he'll throw a temper tantrum and blow out the wall, trying to suck you into the vacuum of space. Stay on the bar to the far right and use your rocket boost on him when he gets in front of you. After traversing through an area with lots of power-ups, now it's time for the final boss, the core of the Pigstar, where the King Pig has uploaded his brain to. It'll teleport and try and jump on you while attacking with rings and electricity. All you have to do is attack the red knobby thing that pops out, and you'll have him defeated in no time. Now the Pigstar is set to self-destruct. All you gotta do is jump in the escape pod and you're home free. Well, you're not done yet. Oh no, not by a long shot. The Pig King is not done with you yet. As you fly the escape pod back down to the planet, the remnants of the core will chase after you. You have no way to attack him at all, so all you have to do is just avoid him to the best of your ability. Eventually the screen will turn red and then the core will burn up in the atmosphere. And that will be the end of the Pig Empire. Sparkster will return the princess, and while she and the king are reunited, he'll sneak away and blast off, like a boss. Out of all the mascot clones, this is probably the most original and well planned out of all of them. Rocket Knight Adventures is one of the most fun and enjoyable games I've ever played. In fact, the whole Sparkster series is good, and there's only 4 games in the entire franchise. That's good advice for Sonic Team nowadays. It's quality, not quantity, and it looks like they're finally starting to learn from their mistakes. If you still got a Genesis and can find a copy of this game, go for it. Otherwise, you'll probably just have to use an emulator, as it's not available on the Wii Virtual Console yet, although I could be wrong. But if you have a PS3, 360, or Steam, check out Rocket Knight, the newest game in the series, and you won't be disappointed. Rocket Knight Adventures is another definite for the top 10 best Genesis games of all time, and I highly recommend playing it.